Georgia Congressman Mike Collins joins me now. Congressman, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, I got to say, I appreciate some of the statements you've made lately. I know you've called out the woke culture going on in transportation right now at Norfolk Southern and in this administration as well. 30 years running a family-owned trucking company, so you know a thing or two about infrastructure, probably a lot more than Pothole Pete, who you said impeachment is not off the table for him. Tell us more about your plans to hold Mayor Pete accountable.
Well, you know, Jen, it's exactly what we were laying out in that speech yesterday. It's the fact that you've got someone that was placed in a position, not based on their expertise, but just based on the mere fact that they were put there for identity politics, to check a mark in a box. And that has led to not just that derailment, but you can go as far back as that Notum disaster that we had that shut down an entire industry.
Yes.
And that is a 30-year-old software program. And instead of them spending money and spending time to improve that software, what did they do? They decided to write a 176-page report, spend thousands of dollars in time to change the name from Notice to Airmen to Notice to Air Missions. And I have no idea how that made that safer, but I tell you what it didn't do. It didn't improve that software program, and one person had the ability to go out there and delete a file and shut down an industry. And what you're seeing now is reverberating down into the private sector, where Norfolk Southern, in their ESG report of 2022, clearly stated in that letter from the chairman that they were going to devote more time to DEI with more inclusiveness as far as diversity, equity, and inclusion. And what they should have been saying was, in fact, that we are going to hire the best people to do the job, no matter what that job is. Instead of greasing that rail of the fourth branch of politics, we're going to hire good people to get out there and grease wheel bearings to keep our trains on the tracks.
You know, Congressman, you wrote a great op-ed recently, and you talked about a lot of that, the NOTAM and so forth. And you also mentioned the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. I mean, $66 billion devoted to rail. Any idea where that money went?
No, we don't have an idea. But the majority of that infrastructure bill had nothing to do with actual infrastructure improvement, either technology, safety, or congestion on the roads. It was more or less just a Green New Deal to appease the far left branch or the far left Democrats and his party. And those are things that we need to address. That's why we need oversight, and we're having oversight in every committee that we've got.
So when you consider what's going on with Buttigieg here, obviously this country cannot afford any kind of transportation disaster. You see all the near misses at airports, at planes nearly colliding, obviously concerns with rail with all these derailments right now. If Buttigieg refuses to resign, what further action is Congress prepared to take?
Well, as far as what I'm concerned, there is nothing that is off the table. And it worries me every day that this continues on with someone that clearly does not have an understanding of how to run this agency. And you know, that was a horrific train derailment in East Palestine. And you said it even when you were talking about with the airlines. You take a look at the air traffic controllers and how they are leaving their jobs in droves. And it's just that whole agency's focus on this wokeness culture in our society. And if he doesn't want to resign, we're going to keep the pressure on. And like I said, there is no option on it that is off the table for us.
All right, no option off the table. We're going to hold you accountable for that. Congressman Mike Collins of the great state of Georgia, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Jen.